We all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies, a devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky. Oh, it's a movie now. This world is all CGI, their plot is truly foul. But we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers, y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
All right, everyone, welcome to Why the Big Secret, and it is Tuesday. And first of all, I hope each and every one of you had a great weekend. Of course, we can go with the Wakanda if we want to go that. I didn't get to see it yet, so we'll definitely be checking that out. We got a good show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about mind control. And one of the things about this MKULTRA at some point was very known as one of the biggest conspiracies of all time. But now we think with enough information out there that this thing is definitely true. It happened. People were tortured. But the question is, are they still doing this today? Are we still having a couple of mind controlled experiments out there? And we'll probably cover that a little bit, and we'll talk about that, get you guys involved into the conversation, and we will definitely get that going. So sit back. This is what we're going to be talking about tonight, and let me roll us into the start. All right, truth seekers, it is Tuesday night, and I want to welcome you to Forbidding Knowledge TV. I'm your host of the Why the Big Secret Show. I'm Roderick Martin. And first of all, you could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, I want to take the time to do what? Is to bid you good evening. good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the 24 time zones that this show is aired. And I'll also give you a little background information. I'm located in that jumbo state. This is where those UFOs come out to play. And it is a Texas thing, y'all. And with Texas, we come with a big promise, and that's to be the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, creating captivating conversations that'll certainly cause controversy. Join me tonight and the host and everything that we're going to be doing and the stories about MKULTRA. And maybe you've had some event, and we'll talk about that as well. But as you know, this show is not a PG show. So if the kids are watching, put them to bed. And if you have not fixed dinner, I'm going to give you another Texas recipe. Here's a little eggs, right? A little biscuits and a little syrup. Okay, add the bacon. You can fix that really quick, and everybody is happy. But in the meantime, I'm excited, man, and it's been a great weekend. And so, like I say, we're going to hop down into this information, and I hope you are ready. All right, so let's get with it. Let me turn it down a little bit, and let's get into our conversation. And let me give a shout out to a few people who are in the chat a little bit, and it's a lot of you. So let's just say hello to everyone that is here right now, and we're going to be doing this. Now, I want to make an impact on you tonight. So if you do find there is some value in this particular show tonight, I want to make sure I'm very clear. Make sure you smash the like button, okay? I went through a lot to get this just for you. Make sure you smash that like button, and let's do that. And if you have not, subscribe to the channel, all right? So let's roll. In the meantime, a couple of quick announcements for some of you. If you noticed that last week we talked about building a show. If you was here on our Friday show on Why the Big Secret, you can see some of the requests and things that we were doing. One in particular, we're looking for some volunteers, topic researchers. And if you are skilled at that and have the time and really want to be accountable for this type of situation, reach out at contact@whythebigsecret.com. Let me put that back up real quick. And we just want some people, as we put more shows together and strive to be where we're going with this thing, we're going to put a team together. And it's the volunteers for right now. But fortunately, when the time comes and when we get sprinkled, you will get sprinkled for those that stick around and part of the crew itself. So basically, the research would be show topics. And whenever we got our shows that we're going to be coming up with, definitely you will help that with the show producer when it comes down to that as well. Another thing I talked about last Friday, if a lot of you didn't hear the story, I talked about this tarot reading that I had, which was profound. I mean, it was my first reading, said some great things, some amazing things, and uncovered some things. And I was so ecstatic. I talked to the great lady about it, and she says, you know what, we can definitely do some things here. So here's what we're going to do. She's going to do a fundraiser here for the show. So if you, the first 20 people that would like to have a tarot reading, we're talking 1 hour session, and it's going to be $50 for the whole hour. And I think it'll be worth it to you. So if you're interested, once again, go ahead and contact at whybigsecret.com. And we will be able to arrange that for you. Just the first 20. Actually, we mentioned it Friday. We're probably down to a few spaces left. But if you're interested, reach out and do that as well. And most importantly, we're on our 100K run. And so I definitely want you to definitely support the channel over at Why the Big Secret. If you have not, please get out there and put a couple of things together, share the channel so we can do those things as well. So we're going to get some stuff going. All right. And I'm going to get right into it. Definitely got a couple other quick messages, and I like to get all those out of the way. If you're looking to find a little more things that I'm on, you can look for me here. Of course, Forbidden Knowledge. I'm here on the series on the Forbidden Knowledge TV, as well as the Black Knight Satellite, Roswell, Alien Endgame. George Norrie's Beyond Belief will be airing tomorrow. So I'll be on that show. Definitely check that out. Open Minds. And then some upcoming Ancient Aliens things will be out pretty soon as well. There is a UFO cruise coming up. I'll be one of the speakers there. So if you definitely want to go and hear some of the other speakers, you know, Jimmy Church working with Billy, Nick Pope, and a few others. And we're going to be on that UFO cruise, Hidden Cruise Secrets, that's this next year. So definitely want you to check that out. And then again, there's an 8-episode show right now, Why the Big Secret, on Forbidden Knowledge TV. Go ahead and subscribe. Check that out. We'll be doing that as well. And last but not least, you all know my guy, Anthony, the reptilian channeler. Make sure you go. His new podcast. I'm actually one of his first episodes there. And we go deep into some information that I think you guys will like to hear. That's over at Canadian Awareness. You want to go check him out and definitely see that. In fact, I got a little more information right here before we get started. All right, so now we're going to get down into the show itself. And first of all, if any of you, and I get this all the time, I get people that tell me they're part of experiments. In fact, I've seen a few people in here already that said that they was part of certain experiments and everything else. And we'll love at some point for you to share that. And we'll definitely get down to that pretty soon. And, of course, we're going down our Starseed journey. Later on, we're going to do the panel. There's so many things there. But this topic tonight takes the cake when it comes down to the ultimate conspiracies, right? But I believe that it's not one. It really, we have a lot of history when it comes down to MKUltra. And basically, for those of you who are probably saying, hey, what is that? It is a code word for a CIA mind control program. And one of the things they set out to do was to see if they could figure out a way to mind control humans. But it started another way. But let me set the tone, a little history about what is going on. So this was back in the early 1960s. The CIA conducted an LSD experiment called mind control. All right. And that was the code name was MKUltra. Now, the agency recruited scientists, doctors to run these illegal studies, if you hear me, at dozens of universities, hospitals throughout the country. Now, at the same time, they had black sites located in prisons, brothels. The agency covertly conducted their own ad in experiments with drugs, and they tested this all types of stuff, hallucinogenics effects in an operational relation to torture, sexual blackmail. I had to pause on that one, and mind control. This was huge. And the CIA actually worked for the government. The government actually supposed to work for you and I. And how much is that we want to look into what was happening with MKUltra? Now, this wasn't no small thing. This thing started out as some small test run, but this became so massive. And like I say, universities, doctors, scientists, everybody was in. Now, could we honestly say, okay, was it the money? Because they was passing out a lot of dough back then, a lot of dough to get this thing done, and a lot of dope at the same time too. So when you got dough and dope at the same thing, you got a flawless system to get people to do some things that you want them to do. Because some people will take them both, one or the other, but either way, they knew how to manipulate the humans to do their bidding. And so I thought that was a pretty crazy approach for them to do that. And then when you go back and think about, this rabbit hole was deep. It was really deep what they did. And they had a mission. And it all started out with they was looking for a fundamental information on compounds that they were in. And this was what the capable of causing changes in behavior and changes in mental attitude. Now, that's simple. That appears to be that's what they started out doing. That, okay, this was a research to just kind of see if we can find some things that would change behavior. Now, one of the things that came back to this when I was doing some research was that they actually started out with animals. They actually started out trying to control animals. And I saw a video where they was doing these bulls, and it was working. They actually figured out how they can mind control and make the bull spin around. And so somebody said, hey, we can do some bulls, let's do some people. And there lies what we know today as MK Ultra. Now, another part of that is simply that they made a decision, was made to do the testing on unwitting victims. Now, check this out. It was decided that they would be the people that they chose was fringes of society because they were the most vulnerable. It was borderline underworld, really, is what they was doing. You're talking prostitutes, drug addicts, and other small timers, and the reason for this is because they knew these people was powerless and couldn't do nothing about it if they found out about it, right? But boy, did that take a turn for them when this thing spread it out from the low lines and went back toward the high line. And then I think today, what we see today, honestly, and really honestly, this is just opinion that I have, that the counterculture of the 60s, and it's safe to say that the CIA gets total credit for sponsoring, initiating the entire conscious movement, okay? The counterculture events in the 1960s, because they funded and supported, encouraged hundreds of young psychiatrists to experiment on this drugs. Now, I'm gonna tie this in a little bit to today in the UFO space for a second, if you don't mind. And one of the things is looking at the point of what when we talk about people having UFO experiences, and oftentimes people will say, well, I have to, use some type of drugs or LSD or ayahuasca or just different type of stuff to have these conscious experience. And people oftentimes comes back and say they was on the other side, or they went into some other dimension and it was as real as it can get. But should we really think that that's really happening? Because we know this is a hallucinogenic drug, excuse my French. It makes you hallucinate, period. Let me use that. So the point I'm trying to make is, how do we verify those stories? And if you're in the audience and if you taken mushrooms, right, or any of these things to get to yourself to be on the other side of things, I want to hear about that really quick. Put that in here into the chat and let me bring some attention to your moment. So if you can put that in here, and that'll work. So what I'm saying is, in this space, before we get into MK Ultra, is that people would tend to say that this drug is what got them into what we call today the conscious space. And one would think that we could do that just through great meditation and everything else. But I think the CIA started all that. So that's one of the things that we will look into and go into this. So basically, at this point here, they decided to build this arsenal of empire using drugs. And this particular thing got out there. It was out there really, really bad in every sense of the matter. It was just there. And my concern was, and not only with people back then, was that, okay, what was they really trying to do? Because eventually, the first thing they said was, we trying to learn mind control. But they went into some torturing. They went into a lot of other areas that would make you think, mind control, because obviously it wasn't working. Now we got the Manchurian candidate. We got all those stories that you hear of things. And I think at this point, they have evolved past that. And we'll talk about that probably later. But in the meantime, I think it's one of those things that, we need to really just think about how deep this thing go. And it didn't work. It didn't work. And so let's go over some facts a little bit of some stuff that was happening that I thought was really concerned about. Now, it started with this guy, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, if I'm pronouncing that correct. And this guy was the main person behind this thing in the beginning, okay, one of the people. But then ultimately, he probably ran out of options, and then he started to torture people, and which crept into some of the experiments. And we're talking straight jackets, and the people were administering drugs. Now, there was a part of this that a lot of people, I mean, they had everybody, all walks of life, black people, white people, green people, if there was, women, men, and they tested these people all with different amounts of this LSD. Now, here was a caveat about this LSD. Now, we know this is a designer drug, right? And so somebody had to design this thing. And of course, why wouldn't it be our government? But here's the deal. This thing was designed that just a little drop alone will just take you into Scotty land to space, right? And beam me up, Scotty. This thing would get into your body and almost become uh, hit you so fast, but it becomes untraceable. Okay, this was untraceable. So there was no way at the time, probably now, but back then in the 60s, you couldn't even test for it if somebody was on it. So you would think, okay, this could also be the perfect weapon, right? When they use this. So that was a clever thing for them to put this together. Now, another part of this, again, was they started administering this to different people. Not everybody was affected by LSD. There was a few people that had different types of effects and that made them very curious. So they like, wait a minute, this person does this. This person is getting sexually aroused. This person is going nuts. This one is just, I mean, this is just crazy as all get out. Now, I'm going to keep tying it back because once again, I'm in the UFO space, conscious space, and people are using things to connect with the other side. And yet it's similar to LSD and all these other hallucinating drugs. And we still get people saying, hey, I had contact. So I'm a little suspicious about that. Maybe y'all can help me with that tonight, where this is the real deal. And why do people need this to make contact or consciousness in all these other areas? But they got to get high to do it. Okay. So we'll come back to that. So the whole point is not everybody was affected by this LSD. People had different things. And so I think this is one of the turning points that forced their hands to say, you know what? A lot of people's not affected by this drug. Let's just do everybody we can come to. Let's just do everybody. And this is when they said, you know what, we're going to go out here and we're going to put together what they call black sites. And this was prostitutes, hotel rooms, and renting apartments and all of these things. And they went into all walks of neighborhood. But the most other intriguing part of this, they did go to the colleges too. They spared no expense on putting this drug out there into the streets to test this thing. And now, okay, now we think about it, it's on the streets for testing. But could they have been some drug dealers themselves, the CIA? Because we know the stuff got loose. Somebody had to have been manufacturing this thing. And then, of course, it had to get down through the food chain of the network. So at this point, now all of a sudden, more and more people are getting it. Now there's money coming back to the provider, right? So they probably fund the operation with black money from selling drugs and dope and everything else. But this is a government operation. This is something that at the time. Now, if you go back to history, though, especially for you folks that's a little younger than I, and do you know that heroin back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, I think, and somebody correct me, was illegal drugs. Men, there was these sophisticated men, and predominantly in the white areas, because it was somebody that needs to afford this thing, used to come home and I saw some old newspaper clippings where this drug was sold. You can go to the grocery store and buy heroin. They would come home and give it to their wives to calm them down after all this home stuff. And so there was a lot of things, like, whoa, this is crazy. And I don't know when it turned illegal at the point, but you can go back in history. You'll see some articles when it gets down to that. But anyway, back to where I'm going with this, though. So now we're looking at this drug. Now, the LSD at the time wasn't illegal, and I'm sure it's illegal as hell now. But at the time, they was like, we're going to pump this stuff out here. We're going to get this mind control. Now, bid you not, on this side of the fence, they wasn't getting any mind control, results. Every now and then, they was able to tell somebody to hey, go stab this dummy or something, and they thinking it's working. But think about it. If you are now locked up in a closet or a room and they're giving you LSD and drugs at will, and they're telling you to do certain things, and you know now if you do it, they think it works, and then at this point they're going to give you more. I'm sure there was some clever folks in there that was like, you know what? I'm going to stab an elephant if they told me. I'm going to break through a wall and put my head through the wall. Whatever they tell me to do, I'm going to do it because they think what they're doing is working. And at this point, we will get more dope. So it's like, all right, fine. This thing is crazy when it comes down to it. Now, what are the threats about this, though? What about we rolled in today and we got more information? What are people dealing with when it comes down to drugs on the street today when we think about all these things that people are doing, getting high and everything else? And so I'm not even going to ask the audience who all gets high. You know, that's just your business, right? I'm not even going down that road. But I'm saying to a fact that LSD. Now, maybe this is a personal question and you are hiding behind your username and anonymity of that. How many of you have tried LSD and tripped out with it? So I'm gonna pause for a minute and let you put it in there, whoever just want to have a spirit of honesty or whatever. And I know there may be some people just want some attention and say, I have, but I definitely want to know who actually have tried this stuff and what kind of feelings that you got when it got down to it. And I don't know, but all I can tell you, it was pretty much. Now, another part while I'm waiting for that, somebody else says I have. TB says I have. Jack says I've done it all. Okay, all right. Uh, and somebody said not yet, so they waiting on it. Chase says I have, and but David said I haven't, but one day it's coming. LSD, baby, come on down. And someone else, Rita says I only tried the shrooms, baby. I only tried, and so we have. Okay, we got Indigent Rebel there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And let's see, we have a few other people that says I've tried it and whatever. All right, so somebody said, "Have you ever?" I don't know if that's a question to me. No, I have not. I have not tried any of that. In fact, I ain't never been high in my life when it comes down to this. My father, as a kid, drank and smoked enough to last me and my kids, the next generation. So that was one thing that I decided not to do besides eating. Right, so other than that. So, okay. So, another part of this, though, was Russia at this time. Russia was using LSD or using some type of drugs to create what they call a truth serum, okay, or truth drug. And so, of course, we did too. We was like, okay, let's get in on this game. Let's put this thing together and put this down. Now, the plot thickens, though. So, when they did decide to put this out in the street, when they did decide to go to the brothels and all of this stuff, they was doing this without people's prior knowledge. Now, the test subjects knew that they were doing something. They had no clue that they were taking LSD. They just knew they were part of some program. And once again, if they're going to give you a lot of dope and drugs and, bring it, baby, bring it. And so one of the things was that the other people did not know that they were taking this. And again, today, what happens today? What could people sue the CIA, even though now the program is there? Now, of course, we know a lot of evidence was gone. It's been thrown away and whatever. And this drug was designed that it wouldn't show up in your body. And so therefore, if it was used for you to kill somebody, once it was done, it was like there was no proof. There was no simple proof. But what are your thoughts about this experiment on people? So let me start here. It first started out that they will just take low lives or people that they felt that was just on the lower echelon of life. You got prostitutes, in which today prostitution is probably way up here now, right? In an everyday stance, and y'all get that later. So what I'm saying is, though, they were saying that okay, this is some of the people, drug addicts, and all these people. So they're like they're worthless. Let's do that. But I don't think that's how they should have handled things. So what are y'all thoughts about that? For those of you in the chat room, yeah, prisoners. They was like, okay, we can go to prisoners and use all kinds of people, but at this point, they start running out. They start running out of people to say, and so now we're going to move this into the neighborhoods And now we're going to move this into universities. And this again, what the movement started, the hippie movement, right? And everybody's out there with the, the bigger froze and just what I'm saying, that group. And so it was crazy. It was crazy. But once again, I'm trying to go down a hole here with me. This was an illegal program used on everyday people, but it got out of control. And when I say it got out of control, so for those of you who say you use LSD, you're remnants of this particular program, and here's growth. But here's something else that was pretty awesome that I'm going to share with you right now. And once again, this guy here, as I said before, Dr. Sidney. Now, he had an agenda. They even got to a point where they decided that they started something called Operation Midnight Climax. The name alone, Midnight Climax, baby. All right, so this was where prostitutes was asked to administer the LSD to their clients without the client's knowledge. The LSD was put into victims' drinks. The CIA operative was monitoring their behavior through two-way mirrors. This is like what we got today as porn sites now, or whatever they was doing. But what in the heck did they had to gain? Now, outside of the theory was that these women would use these drugs to get information from these people, and they could use it against spies and anybody else, or set it up and say, okay, we're gonna send this in here. But I saw a movie called Eddie Murphy's movie Harlem Nights. Do y'all remember that movie? And there was a girl in that movie called Sunshine. And Sunshine didn't need no LSD to get somebody to go home and tell their wife, I'm not coming home no more. I don't know if that's the magic of a woman, period. But obviously, they felt that they needed to Operation Climax to go and have these prostitutes put this thing in the drinks and get people to begin to tell some jokes. And so I would just ask the audience, and maybe inappropriate at this point, but how many of you women think that you could have worked for this program without the LSD and get a man to tell you whatever you wanted him to know like that? You don't put, don't do that, because there are going to be some guys, if you put yourself out there, and there's going to be some guys going, they need to talk to you. So, but anyway, if they got skills like that, that's fine. But what I'm saying is they felt that it was necessary to get these women to drug people, and then they're watching these people through a two-way glass, taping and filming. Now, I think a lot of this part was blackmail too, because now that they got these people filmed, they will pretty much do that. And somebody talk about, hey baby, put your mother on the phone. Yeah, I'm not never coming back. I know, right? That was Sunshine, and she didn't use no LSD. She sure didn't. So boy. I think she's just a rumor anyway. She's a rumor. I know if we get in trouble for that one. But the whole point is they felt that they can blackmail people. They can sit here and do these things to get information out of people, to simply put people in these positions, and especially with these prostitutes and everybody else using that. So, again, they spare no expense. And you think it could get worse? Absolutely, it got worse. And we'll talk about that later in the show. Other things that they started doing to people, which I think was horrifying. I think it was messed up. And they just simply wouldn't stop. And this went on for years and years and years. And those are one of the things that we need to really look at what's going on from there. And so for a moment, I'll take a second to acknowledge again some people here in the audience. Give you an opportunity, if you have not smashed the like button, this is the emphasis on that. Make sure you smash the like button. This is for you to do that. Smash the like button and definitely do that right now. And, that's only if you get value. And definitely we want you to know that you're getting value. And for all of you who have already done that already, thank you very much for smashing the like button. Or hit that bad boy from there. So far, what do you think about MKUltra in the history? If we can think of some emojis to use, I first want to get if some of you are thinking that this was a conspiracy. Did it really happen? I used to be on Clubhouse, and I had people that would come on stage. One girl called herself 11, and that was her name. And she said she was one of the people part of MK Ultra. And so that I couldn't verify it, but she has some great information. And definitely, we both watched the movie Stranger Things, right? And so that was one of those things. But give me your opinion right now before we move on. Did you think that this was a conspiracy? Still think it's a conspiracy? Or are there any truth that this actually existed? Okay, so Desert Rose said it did. Goldie said, yeah, it happened. And so that's one of the things that we can do. Under about the bread on frame. Okay, drugs back in the day. True theory. All right, welcome. All right, so Chad said no conspiracy there. Girlfriend of Basie, yes, and I'm sure it still does. And we're going to get on that. We're going to get on it. I think it's still happening. Chad said it's still happening. Alexis says true. Yep, it happened. All right, goes on, just different names. Magnetica says, and the truth in there as well. And speaking of that, if you decide, check this out. This was sent to me. Let me see if that camera will focus in on that. Yes. Yeah. So this was made, and this is all about contributions. So if you want to contribute, so this was sent to me by one of the audience member and said, "Hey, check this out." So I probably one day put it into a necklace format, 6 stars there of money, baby, of money. So, but anyway, so everybody said they think it happened, and pretty much, but it didn't stop there. Okay. It didn't stop there. And then later on in the show, I'm going to tell you about a device that's out there now that now could be used for mind control. And then, we all still had those rumors of chemtrails, and how chemtrails could be at some point part of this mind controlled experiment that probably is now elevated past LSD. In fact, that is something that, I get all the time. So if anybody heard that, I want to hear about that as well. Have you heard that chemtrails today that we see in the sky, and those little lines that the planes are laying now, are responsible for some type of use for mind control? What are your thoughts on that as well? So I get that people share that a lot as well. So, but anyway, yeah, chemtrails and holograms, says Chad, and I have heard those too, Alexis said. So, we get all of the, and again, how far does the conspiracies or the truth go when it gets down to this? And then mind control itself. So, do they have to really have an experiment of mind control? I think a lot of us right now deal with mental health, mental issues. You hear people all the same times that they're hearing voices, and people are doing that without having LSD. This is a natural occurrence, but again, it is used to take people into the other parts. And so back to the first question that I asked you earlier, and then we'll move right on happily here. Why is a question that people in the space of ufology or this conscious movement awaken, all of this have to use LSDs, or if they use LSDs, other type of, hallucinogenic products and drugs to achieve the connectivity. And if you achieve that connectivity, is it surreal? Is it real? And so that's something to think about. So if y'all can answer that, help me out on that part. That'll be recently someone says because it's easy in doing the spiritual work. Okay. All right. So he said it's easier. White lies matter, says, because it's easier than doing the spiritual work. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I get it. I understand it. And that's one of those things. So can people literally get there without the drugs? And so I'm assuming that's what you meant, because they probably could if they want to do the works. And so those are one of the things there. So once again, I didn't get a lot of you admitting that you use LSD. And so basically, though, what other stuff out there can a person use to emulate this LSD thing? So I just want to know, what other drugs out there? What's on the market? What can somebody readily get to get them into the state that LSD would put people in? So now's the opportunity for some of you to really share your inner talents there. Girlfriend of base at Roderick, the whole chat already admitted they use LSD. Whoa, the whole chat. Somebody said fentanyl. Fentanyl. We got somebody talking about buy a car. Certain mushrooms, shrooms. Okay. Angel dust. God dang. There's all kind of stuff out there, huh? All right. Orminous. No, man, shrooms, K2, DMT. Never even heard of that. What is K2? The mountain? Whew. Oh my God. Somebody told me I can get high from Church's chicken. You got fun at Grand Zero. You got jokes. All right. So, all right. But I get it. Ayahuasca. Yes, I've heard of that a lot, pretty much. And didn't like the angel dust. Synthetic cannabis, ketamine. God darn. All of this stuff is sitting out. Snake venom, mushroom. I mean, this is out on the market today, and is this readily available for people to get high like that or past high? It's ridiculous. All right, but that's fine. I think if it's the drug is out there and people using it, then so let it be. I mean, that's one of those things now that you can do. So, all right, we're gonna move into some more part of this, and I appreciate y'all very being part of the conversation. DMT, laugh loud, ride, the sweat, and innocent. Yeah, I know, man. I never really used that stuff in pretty much, and so it's one. Okay, so yeah, we definitely want to make sure that this is not what I'm advocating. We're not advocating the use of drugs or anything. In fact, let me make sure I put this disclaimer out here for the channel itself. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers, the commentators, the experts, and the hosts. They do not implicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the channel policy of these views to be held by this channel or the broadcaster. The broadcaster's channel cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed on this program today. There are simply minds questions that I'm asking you. And let me put it like this. Don't do drugs. That's how I'm going to put it. And this is your brain on drugs. It pops like popcorn. In this case, is our donation thing. But all right. So I'm officially saying don't use drugs. Okay. Don't do it. No kind of way. Stay off of it. Be clean. Be nice. Be mindful, because your mind or your eyes, I'm going to start with, is useless when your mind is blind, and we do not need your mind to be blind when it comes down to what's happening today. All right. So with that being said, we're going to take our first break for the moment and let you guys hear the Truth Seekers song there and check it out. The shortened version. Let me know what you like while we take a quick 30-second break. Right about now.
Let me ask you a question. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. It's time to get the facts from the big secret keepers. UFOs passing by when I look up in the sky. We're out here asking why, but we don't get no reply. We want disclosure, we need the actual facts. They're covering all the tracks, but we're not backing down. It's our time, stay on the grind.
All right, now we are back and just had to take a quick break to make sure that we have all of our tools in order for you and definitely for you to understand where we are in this conversation. So again, for those of you just chimed in, I'm Roderick Martin, and this is Why the Big Secret here on Forbidden Knowledge TV. And we're talking about the MKULTRA, which is a program that we're doing, and we're already started the conversation. And so if you're just hopping in, we still got a lot more left. We still got a little more questions. But in the meantime, as I said, always, you want to definitely leave those drugs alone. And should you use them or do it? And my question to you is,
hell no.
And so do not do the drugs. And so again, do we advocate it here? And no, we don't. And if you don't believe me, this is why.
Hell no.
So those are the reasons. That's enough for you to know that we do not advocate it here. And let's move on into the story. I just had to make that out because we're on YouTube, right? You'll get somebody start talking about this dude over here talking about, and it just grows. And it'll be the one video that goes viral because everybody think I'm talking about some drugs and some dope. And I did try to make reference to the women that got those skills that drug does, but I just said that just to be funny. And nobody really said it though. Nobody responded to it. So maybe nobody heard me from there. So let's go into a second part of what we're going to be talking about here when it gets down to it. Now, we just talked about, once again, we get back to Operation Midnight Climax. And it's kind of funny that they would even use that name, Midnight Climax, because this is just what happens. But once again, they're filming people. They're using this to create people to say and do things under a sexual environment. And then at the same time, going to use some of these videos probably for blackmail. And this is just crazy because this is the freaking CIA. This is the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States government. And so now we got the CIA, you got the FBI, you got the DA, you got now the DEA wasn't even involved in this, and they're the people who want to deal with the dope and drugs. They was not even involved in this particular part, but we have the CIA. Now, you still wonder how they're not supposed to, if I'm not mistaken, the CIA was not supposed to have a charter to operate domestically in the United States. They're not supposed to. And maybe I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me on that one. They're not supposed to have operations within the United States. They're supposed to be abroad, but yet they did that. And maybe this is where they came into the next part of this. Now, this thing got to a point to where they introduced a new word, and I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. And this is still happening today. Electroconvulsive therapy. Now, this was done by this guy, Donald Ewan Cameron. Now, this dude was a serious dude, okay? This dude here decided that he could create some type of therapy, listen to me, that they can erase your mind, okay? Erase it completely and come back and give you some new thoughts. Did y'all hear me? I'm saying these people got to a point where they are sitting here saying they could erase your mind.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
Erase your mind. That's what they said. And so I'm sitting here as like, what on earth? What would we be? Okay. So this goes back to all of the other people here when we talk about consciousness and we talk about our mind. And so if they was to erase your mind, what happens to the soul, or what happens to the higher consciousness? Would it survive if they were erasing your lower mind? So if you scholars out there and you like to tackle that, and even if it is a question, it is a thought for me to know what happens to consciousness if they was to erase the mind. Is it possible? I don't know. Maybe let me hear from the scholars. Come on, help me out on this one. Get involved. Come on. I know this is Forbidden Knowledge TV. We're not on, whatever that dude in Big Bird channel. We where the knowledge people are. You some smart folks. Help me with that one. What happens to the mind? If they erase your mind, what happens? Okay, to that. And somebody said just a zombie. All right, I'm with you. Nothing. Someone else. Jake says nothing. And but that was the whole point. They saying that let me go back with this particular slide here. This electroconvulsive therapy, where they was using shock treatments at the same time with these drugs. And he called it mind control, that he can erase the mind and then correct it through drugs and other therapies. This guy was known to erase somebody's mind, put them in a coma, okay? Put you in a coma. Somebody said The Walking Dead, all right? Chad said they do that in Scientology. Yeah, I know. Farmer said it's crazy. Big Bird channel. I know, right? I'm just saying, this is not Big Bird, Elizabeth. This is Forbidden Knowledge TV. I'm looking for some help here. This is the audience. This is I was told, here's a serious deal. I was told there are certain shows I'm going to do in the future that if I needed some answers, you guys would know, because we're all students of Billy Carson himself. And dude, teach some stuff. So again, this ain't Big Bird channel, baby. This is Forbidden Knowledge TV. So this is another college within itself. So anyway, what happens though? All right, if there and somebody says, stay in focus, if your mind is erased, would it be a non-responsive dream state? Great question, dude. Great freaking question. I would I bring it on screen, but I'm not in that mode. But I'm just saying, great question, because that's what I want to know. What would they gain from the fact of sitting here trying to erase somebody's mind? What would they gain from that? And then, like I said, some of the stories had it that they will put you in a coma-like state, play music, play something. You remember there was a movie that came out with Wesley Snipes and my boy, Rocky, whatever his name, Sylvester Stallone, and Demolition Man. Y'all remember that? And supposedly they, instead of putting you in jail, they do this cryo freeze thing and then put you in this cryo freeze state and then play this simple stuff. But then Wesley Snipes was reprogrammed with violence and karate and, to create a madman. All right. So these movies we have out here, they show different stuff. That was a great movie, especially with the 3 seashells. And I never can figure that out yet. If anybody know what they meant by the 3 seashells in the bathroom, share that with me. And then they even had the metaverse. Remember, they had the metaverse in this movie, which was 15, 20 years old, where now people put on headsets and have sex without touching. So this is not something that they just making up when we see these shows, right? And all right, just stick that out there. We'll come back to that in a minute. But anyway, we're talking about this thing where they're putting people in a coma, they're erasing their minds and bringing them back. Now, there was a lot of people that didn't make it through that experiment. Some people never regained their mental sanity. Why not? But I'm just trying to figure out, what could they do to erase your mind? Now, all right, we all a fan of the movie, right? The one that says, look into the thing and your memory is gone. It's the inspiration of the name of the show. Why the Big Secret is in that name. We're talking Men in Black, right? So obviously this stuff goes around for quite some time, and it pretty much. So anyway, therapy, when it comes down to them mind erasing people, blowing out your mind, putting all these things in effect, I think that is a crazy thing to do when it comes down to that in pretty much. And so I don't know. I don't see it when it comes down to all right. So I do have a question though. There was a question in my home once about weed smoking. And there was, at that time, I was married, and the she-wolf, which if you'll get who that is, that's the ex. The she-wolf had step kids, little mini wolves and calves. And one of them wanted to start smoking weed. And I was against it, where he actually was smoking weed. He was smoking it outside and all those places. And I was like, no, dude, this is not going to go down. You're trying to be an athlete and whatever. And sparked the argument between me and the she-wolf at the time. And her story was that, to me, that weed make you smarter. Is that true? I don't think so. But that's what the whole conversation is about. Her cousin, who was in the army, told her the weed make you smarter. I'm like, okay, whatever. This is crazy. But anyway, I'm saying this to say, today is being legalized in different places, and so does this disrupt the mind? And I know it could be harmless or not, but how far do we go to let the government say, hey, we're now going to reintroduce some of these products back into society because we don't want people to gain ascension in the mind or grow or whatever. So it's one of those deals. I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. So it's I don't know. I mean, I'll look over here again in the chat. You know, seashells instead of toilet paper. He's coming back. Okay, that's cool. That was what I was asking. He's Farmer said, I feel like weed is a superpower, low key, but people use it in the worst ways and have bad mindsets. Superpower. Okay. All right, this is great. All right, so superpower. Hey, whatever you say. Someone else says changing electrical connections of the brain, and all of that, and then GMO that is bad, bad, bad. You know, weed is bad, bad, bad. Okay, weed now is a step on. It's not weed. That's why I don't smoke anymore. It's stepped on. What in industrial indenture rebel? I'm sorry. What is non-stepped on? What is peer? Tell me that. How would you know? Is peer or stepped on? And when you say stepped on, like stepped on literally, or are you saying they can put some crabgrass into the weed grass and mix it up and make something else? Let me get out of this before I get in trouble. Shoes. I'll have the Your Highness of Forbidden Knowledge TV calling me and say, Roderick, you better stop that. That's the greatness of Liz. And but anyway, all right, so let me get into another part before we get into some of the deep sides of this here. Now, eventually, they did get busted. Okay, the Washington Post at some point came out and said, "Oh, she said not tainted by the government." The Washington Post come out and said the panels find CIA broke the law to defend the record. Other organizations talking about how they infiltrated groups and gave out LSD. If they broke the law, who got in trouble? Who get paid? What happened to all those people that was part of the experiment? Did they get in compensation for that? Were they well known for that? Well, they say by time that they did get to that, that the CIA had some point took all the information and dispersed it out, destroyed it. They didn't really find too much about it. And so it's like, okay, that's fine. Maybe I'll open up a can of stuff talking about this herb. I'm gonna call it a herb to be safe here on and everything else. So where I'm going with this is they got busted. The CIA got busted. In fact, there was someone sent a letter to Hoover back in 1953. Now, okay, let me bag up for a minute. This letter says in 1953, a confidential informant of this office advised July the 1st that his former supervisor, Bureau of Narcotics, George White, which he was a part of, official title, district supervisor, has become associated with the CIA ultra secret assessment as a consultant. And White, and the CIA have rented dual apartments. And these apartments had bar quarters and other things in it, and taking pictures, x-ray mirrors, all of this x-ray mirrors. Good Lord, they really going deep. Now, if you notice this clipping said 1953, MK Ultra, when you look at all the stats and stuff, was started late 50s and 60s. So they've been doing this a long time. A long, long time. The government, the big secret keepers is what we call them here, has been doing this a long time. So my question is this: who made LSD? Was it our government? Who made heroin? Was it our government? Who made some of these other drugs? These things are sophisticated. So do y'all think that the U.S. government made these drugs that are now on our streets today, like intentional? I don't know. What y'all think? I'll look into the chat real quick. See what we got. Yeah, someone else said the government. Someone else said yes, it was. Yes, they did. Yep, they did. The government. Yep. True. Somebody said weed is a plan. We know that part. All right. So yes, absolutely. All right. So man, we in agreement. Someone says hell yeah. All right. So yes to all. And if that's the case, what is the objective to do that? I mean, some of these drugs cross the plateau. There's not a cultural lens on this. And not poor people. Cocaine is way up there on the spectrum when it comes down to that. Grand Zero said, hey, he gave the contribution there, and let me put that up to Zeno. All right, appreciate it. And that'll be good. We'll do that someday. And so at the point I'm saying is, why would they make this stuff, and why would they put it out on the street? Now, of course, again, cocaine and all these stuff reaches the higher echelon, and nevertheless, who made crack cocaine, right? So don't even know who did that. We'll put that down as well. All right, so we have another super chat there. Thank you, DJ. He said wisdom rises on the planet Earth, so it's so. Love the channel. Appreciate you. Not a problem there. As we get ready to move forward, if you had an opportunity, we're going to do some more stuff Friday night on the Why the Big Secret channel. Definitely, we're on our way to getting 7,000 subscribers, still on our way to 100,000 K. So I just butted in for a minute because if you have not had an opportunity, there should be a link being posted here in a few moments to go to Why the Big Secret, subscribe to the channel. Please just hit that link, do that, share it. Got some big things that's coming down for you down the pipeline once we get there. So anyway, let's go back to what I was just saying. If the government is sitting in labs making up drugs for the people, there's a link right now for you guys to hit that link. Go to Why the Big Secret, hit the subscribe button, come right on back. It'll just take you a second it'll probably pop up in a second window for you. And please subscribe to the channel. In fact, there we go again. Make my point. Subscribe to Why the Big Secret YouTube channel. I just think a lot of people was hearing me. So my thing was, let me get some props for some people so they can really see I'm serious about that thing. So definitely go there. So when the government makes these designer drugs, what's the purpose of this? To enslave people? Probably not. Because again, this stuff moves right back from one section on to another. And then we have, of course, crack cocaine comes out and just takes over from everywhere else. But let's get back to mind control. Why would they want to control mind when it comes down to chemtrails? Okay. And then I'm going to share with you something else real quick. Have anybody heard of HARP? Okay. Have you heard of the High Frequency Active Aurora Research Program in Alaska? All right. Appreciate it. Savvy says, Fat says, I went over and subscribed. You know what? I want to thank you personally for going over and subscribing to the channel, Savvy. Appreciate it. All right. So once again, HARP. Okay. HARP is first started out to be a weather control thing. Now, the history of HARP was, and I'm going to tie it into the mind control. The history of HARP was that there was this guy, the scientist, before the government took his program or interceded with more funding, took his program. He was trying to create a device to make it rain in places that it wouldn't rain. So his idea was to shoot up these frequencies up into the atmosphere so strong that they can cause tsunamis, storms everywhere. And it's said that they practice this all the time. And I know you may be wondering, Roderick, why is this conversation into MKUltra? Well, I'm glad you asked, and I'm going to bridge the gap for you. Just stick with me right now. Just hang on right there. We're here. And I'm here. So the whole point was that this device, and let me show you a picture again, it is in real deal, that they shoot all of this high frequency up into that it definitely changes the atmosphere. Thank you, Jacqueline, for subscribing. Carrie says she just subscribed to the channel. Appreciate it. If anyone else subscribed to the channel right now in this day, let me know. I'll try to keep track here. And thank you personally for doing that. Once again, it's important to do. But anyway, so they shoot this frequency up into the atmosphere, and it's supposed to alter the rain. It alters the weather, and it's supposedly be so damn good that they can point it and cause weather events. Well, since then, the government came in and swooped this thing over, funded it, and now it's even more powerful. And I'm not sure if they got many these things sitting around different places if they even need to. But now people are saying, all right, 24 baby bull said he just subscribed to the channel. Appreciate you. All right. Give a shout out to. So and once again, there's a link to the channel right there. And Linda says she just subscribed to the channel. The soul member said sub here. Look, much love to all of you that are subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to, my dream is to hit the 7K and then go over to 10K and build to 100K and at the same time. But anyway, when the government took over, they figured that this thing is so powerful that it could be used for mind control. There's the conspiracy behind it now, that this is what it could be done. Now, how do they tie that in? Well, they already thought at one point that what this guy was doing, this electroconvulsive therapy, could be part of mind control. And now they come back and saying, wait a minute, we're going to do something bigger, more powerful, and everything else. Wait a minute. Somebody said, no need for a shout out here. I'm here to learn. That's somebody named Christina. Or is it Christina? Let me tell you something. And I really don't do this a lot. These are the people that don't need to be here, because if I can't do a shout out for myself and say, hey, enjoy me, what difference does it make, right? That's the whole point when we get people that just, and I spend the time to be here for you. All I ask for you to push the button. That's it. Just push the button. And you ain't even got to come watch me. Just push the button, Christina, please. All right. Anyway, just much love. Much love. But so the whole point is they're now saying that they can use this to alter mind within the skies with a powerful signal. Now, this comes into what we call a tinfoil hats, right? We definitely want to do that, and I think it's just pretty much one of those deals to say, hey, let's watch out for what they can do. Yeah, and some people are saying weather warfare, and we're having it already. Project Bluebeam, frequency control. Christina said, yes, I do understand, and I did. No offense. Much love to you all. Much love to you too, Christina. Thank you. In my rant and all those things. From the bearded guy, we'll go with that. The silverback, we'll go with that. My girl Ella says she subscribed. Now I'm in love. I got hearts. All right, now keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. I love it. I love it. So we're talking about advanced mind control techniques. What do we do in the future? What is going on in the future for people? And the question is for us, is there any plan for them to do more of this? Is there any plan for them to do more of mind control, right? And could they be still doing it today? So let's go into that section with the help of the audience. Let's talk about today's mind control. What could they be using, possibly the government or anybody, to control the mind? Let's get creative. Let's get interactive. What other mind control techniques are out here that possibly could be being used on people every day, and we don't even know it? Besides advertisement, right? TV, okay? Yeah, TV, social media. All right, we're getting it good. Music. You know what? That is a conversation. Somebody talking about, it's 5G towers. Okay, history. Somebody talking about Sour Patch Kids. Y'all funny. Y'all got jokes. I love it. So watching sports. I love it. Radio, school. If this is happening, and me and the show producer was talking about it today. Lonnie was like, music. She was like, do we want to add that to the fray of the conversation? They're using music. And so I was like, nah, I don't know, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This particular song here was designed for you to like the show and into your mind. Yes, big secret keepers, UFOs. Yeah, it's all mind control, right? I want y'all to get to the beat. We want disclosure. Yeah, so I had the guy. I told him, I said, look, I need you to create a song that people will like, that someday we're going to put it on the website. They can download it and jam it in their car because they all are truth seekers. But the whole point is when he says, why the big secret? I want y'all to think of why the big secret. So is that mind control or advertisement or great music? Which one? Someone said they subscribed. All right. Great. 5Gs. We can do the whole song here. Can we hear the whole song? Well, I got two versions of it. There is a long version, and then that's the short version. But he hit it, man. He hits it hard. And like I said, we sat hours and said, hey, we want a theme song, an anthem, like Rough Riders. Rough Rider. I was like, man, create the song. And we had different tracks, and he hit it. And I was like, hell yeah, that's it. And so anyway, so music, what are we talking about? Is music the part of mind control? And now I know they used to have where you can roll it backwards. Y'all remember that? Screw music. That's what they used to call it back when I was coming up. And this is supposed to be this NLP type stuff, right? Just really you hearing some stuff crazy. And I'm like, okay, you roll anything backwards, you're gonna hear a lot of stuff, right? Who knows? But the whole point is that is one of those things. Okay, another thing someone else said they was using for mind control. Let me go back to some of the chats here. Is let me get Lonnie, put some in the chat. What else they're using for mind control? So just throw some in there for me, and we'll go there for there. And if you got something on a plate, that's our producer. So y'all check that out in just a few minutes. But the whole point is, are they doing this today? What do we need to really be careful of? Do you know they sell there? I was watching on the internet. There's these pyramid type things you put on your head, and I might have seen them on the channel for sale, where it can block different signals, right? And all of this is going to the mind. Now we're talking 5G. We're talking about cell phones. We're talking about all of these different things that people are talking about that works with our mind. Now we know TV, subliminal TV shows, and all this as they predict things in the future, all of this stuff. So what do we need to do though? What can we do as a society to protect ourselves from the mind? Signals. Is there anything out there? Is there a hat besides the tinfoil hat, right? Okay, she said fluoride. Lonnie says fluoride in the toothpaste supposedly have some type of issues to I'm not talking about sugar. Well, I'm past that bad boy because they got me. Sugar got me. They got me. And someone else saying that, but Lonnie is saying fluoride. She says fluoride is one of the issues that are things that they talked about that supposedly affect us and when we do that. And so anybody got any idea? Somebody said fluoride is in our public drinking water. And exactly water. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Yes, somebody else says fluoride. Okay. So what's the deal with the fluoride then, y'all? Put it in the chat. Because she was explaining a little bit right before the show, and I just have enough time to put it into the notes. And so what are we talking about fluoride? I just brushed my teeth with some Colgate. So am I in trouble? Is that what the fluoride is? Or any of us? Are we all in trouble with that? So is fluoride in toothpaste, right? If I'm not mistaken, unless they stop doing it, but I'm thinking it's in toothpaste from there. Fluoride calcifies the pineal gland in inner eye. Boy, that's deep. Boy, you talking like just blowing out the chakra, dude. He said fluoride is poison. It's in toothpaste. Okay. Beware of the all right. The pineal gland. All right. So y'all getting deep with this thing. Forbidden knowledge, baby. Forbidden knowledge. I love it. I love the audience because I learn as well as me giving these shows. I really do. So the fluoride is part. So darn, but it's out there every day though. It's on they commercial. They got commercials of using this stuff. man, what do we do? Fluoride is also in the water. All right. So our intuition is our pineal gland, the third eye. He said our inner eye. So is it the third eye or the inner eye that fluoride goes through? Lonnie said too much of it is proven to cause fluorescence. What is fluorescence? That's proven fluorescence. Fluoride called fluorescence. I don't know what that is. But Lonnie's our show producer. So y'all see her, the little soul. She does a great job. She's behind the method of the madness here. And real quick, once again, we're looking for volunteers, for researchers. Contact at whythebigsecret.com. Make sure you go there to, that's the email address, say that you want to be a researcher. And basically what that simply is, as we have more shows such as the one today, we have a system that we use and put our stuff in, and the researchers will all contribute to research found for a show topic, and then you'll be instrumental there. Eventually, I'll give you a shout out and all that. It's volunteer, but our goal is to make this thing big. We got a lot of stuff going as this channel huge, Why the Big Secret grows. And yeah, when we sprinkle a little dust from YouTube ad, we're going to sprinkle to our team as it grows. You know, it'll take some time, but you can be something great. We do have a purpose here of helping and serving the community. And so we would definitely do that. One of the fundraisers right now is tarot reading, 1 whole hour session. And I must admit, I had it done last week and it really told some stuff. And for 20 people, but I don't think we got about 10 or 15 slots left for a whole hour. Okay, and it's $50, and it's going to be donated here to the channel. So, but she's going to spend her time doing that, and she's very good at it. And you will not be disappointed. Sakura is her name. Will definitely do that. So if you're interested in that, hit me up, hit the email, and if you do decide to become or want to be a researcher, put your telephone number with the email. So I can call you back, or our show producers can call you back, and we can vet things out to what we would need. And definitely we need some dependable people, and it probably won't take long. And you'll grow with us with the higher learning of what we're doing as well. All right, so we're going to be coming to a close here in just a minute as we get to, because I got a few questions to ask you as we get down here. But once again, as a quick recap, one of the main things is the government was putting down this MKUltra program. They were sitting here drugging people. Now, I truly believe it wasn't no conspiracy, okay? Because if you buy all the conspiracy books, you're going to see that as one of the top conspiracy. And of course, the consensus that we just had here with the audience, most people's like, hell no, that is not a conspiracy. It's true. And the fact is, it was true, and it got busted. But nobody served jail time over this. Nobody served jail time giving people drugs, drugging them up, taking pictures behind their back, blackmailing them. This is the United States government. The government was blackmailing people. Now, what happened, though, their own people start getting hooked on. Dr. What's the name? He got hooked on the LSD, and they start talking, or Galab, or whatever his name, this guy right here. Let me go back. Excuse me. That was water there. Should have burped there. Ooh. But anyway, this guy, he ended up getting put on drugs. This dude right here, he actually started using this thing, and he's on drugs more and more right now. Well, not right now. He's dead and gone. But anyway, he started using the dope, right? And start like, hey, I need to be tripping too, right? It's like, okay, fine. And then they start having other people using drugs, right? It got to a point to where this thing got out of control. It definitely got out of control. And now today, it's not just an epidemic, it's a product, it's all kind of things now. And it's one of those deals that, hey, here we go, So my concern now is not a concern. It's just, what do we do? How do we protect ourselves? What's going on with the mind? And then again, we still have, but I'm still perplexed when it comes down to the UFO side of this, though, where there's people that says that they need to use these things to connect with the aliens and extraterrestrials, because that's my DNA. Y'all know that. I'm a UFO investigator for MUFON, is what I do. Of course, in some of the TV shows that you see up there on the top that I'm in, all about UFOs. So I can't deny the fact that we are talking about people saying that they reach these extraterrestrials when it comes down to the consciousness of using some dope or drugs or whatever. So I'm still a little wondrous about that. So we would do that. Okay, so hey, so Nicole, who is in here, just text me. She just texted me. Boom. Okay. Nicole is part of the Truth Seekers over at Why the Big Secret too. She's on our inner side of producers and stuff. But she said that she said I can count on her as a researcher. Okay, all right. But she said that she had the reading, the one that I just put up today, and she said it was great. And she said she'll tell me more about it tomorrow. So there you go. Y'all might want to do it. I had it the other day, and boy, it was one of those things. But one of the things that stood out, she says I was an old spirit. She just looked in. She says you're a very old spirit, and she said I sense that you've been here over and over and over. That this is your last time that you have done some things, and I didn't know how to take that at first. Like what? Then I was like, what? I'm studying all this stuff about the soul net and all that. That's over. We're going to have a show on that later on down. I know, y'all. Boy, I just threw that out there. The soul net. Look it up. And so I'm like, well, my last time, I get the whatever. And she says, no, Big Al said you're not Billy Carson. By now, you ain't figured that out, dude? Come on. Where you been? Or where you come from? Whatever. It trips me out when people are like, hi, Billy. Come on. Seriously? And all right. So, but anyway, all right. That's funny. We got jokes. Don't take it the wrong way, Big Al. But I'm not Billy Carson. No, of course not. So what are you trying to say? So anyway, yeah. So the lady was like, you've been here and blah, blah, blah. And you might have to, this is your last time. So I just thought it was pretty interesting. All I'm saying is if you hadn't had that done, you might want to look into doing that as far as one of those things. So if you are interested, once again, here we go. She's just doing a special here for a fundraiser for Why the Big Secret, and $50 for a whole hour. And we'll do that. So, all right. So, okay. Yeah. Past life regressions. Yeah. Barbara Lamb, if you want to learn a little more about that, if y'all have heard of her on Why the Big Secret, we did an interview with her the other day. We talked about regression, past lives, Anunnaki, and people going all the way back to Atlantis in past life regressions. I mean, and man, that was crazy. And we're pretty much show producer. I think Big Al needs to go to bed. He's up too late tonight. There may be somebody's kid playing, and just it's time. Because Big Al says, "Where's Billy again? Come on, man! I'm here every Tuesday night, dude." All right, it's just funny. I'm having a great time, y'all. So he's not offending me, and I'm not offending him, or he, she, whatever the pronoun is. So at this point, though, we're coming to a close as though we're in church. All right, we're coming in church. Y'all see that? That was like magic. He's out. So the whole point I'm saying is mind control. What's going to happen with us tomorrow? Are they still doing it? Does the drugs that we have today, and if there's a new one hit the streets, there's always new drugs hitting the streets. Who's doing it? Who's making it? And that's one of the things that we have to do. So I think it's I don't know. I don't really have an answer. And my answer for the Tonight Show was not to get to the point to say anything other than the fact that there is a problem once we get down to what we're going. And so with that being said, we'll have some final things here that we'll talk about. But, as always, it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, rather the privilege of being here with you tonight. I got a few more things I'll show, but hopefully you enjoyed, or we just had a conversation. All of us, we had a conversation about mind control. We're going to be talking about Marilyn Monroe coming up pretty soon and all of the stuff she was tied to. But did she get killed because of UFO stuff. I did do a JFK a little earlier in the few months back, and he was tied to the UFO thing, and she was tied to him, his brother, his family, and sisters, and this girl was in it. And if you don't know who Marilyn Monroe is, she was probably, I'm not going to compare her to Beyonce of today. That's not possible, not even earthly possible. But she was just big time back then, beautiful, and in that space, and everybody was after her. So she doesn't compare. I was just giving you a reference point. So, but they're not the same. So don't say I said that. So what I am saying is that we need to focus more and more and more on what is happening and what is going on, especially if they're after our minds. If they're after your mind, because I tell you what, that's one thing that I don't care what happens in my life, and I'm not saying anything, but that's the last thing I want to lose is the mind, because it's so important when it comes down to those things. And so once again, as I get my props out, please go ahead and smash this button, okay? Right there, boom. And like I said, this was for you, for the ones who just said they just don't understand when it comes out of my mouth. This other one is subscribe to Forbidden Knowledge, and also hit the link and subscribe over to Why the Big Secret. If you definitely want to get some good information when it comes down to channeling, my boy Anthony, Canadian Awareness, the original, authentic reptilian channeler. We're going to do some things on my channel pretty soon where he's just going to go hard, where you can ask any questions. And man, when I tell you, bar none, he's going to be doing that. And so from there. So with that being said, let me again share with you his channel. I want you to subscribe to his channel. He's just the real deal and a great person, as well as the reptilian and channel. So a channeler. So let's play that, and then we'll get to
We're going to get out of here, and I want to thank all of y'all for being here on Why the Big Secret tonight, Forbidden Knowledge TV, and all the stuff in the chats was just a chat. What the hell is going on with my voice? Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea. Okay, well, anyway, this is the best I can do. I just want to see y'all next Tuesday and Friday night. Come to the Why the Big Secret channel. What the hell am I sounding like this for? I can't even, what the hell is my microphone? Well, anyway, that's what I got. It's the best that I can do right now. So maybe this is what I'm gonna sound like when I lose 300 pounds or something, because I'm trying to get the weight off. Maybe it's just giving me a future thing with the weight. I don't know. Who cares? But anyway, much love you all. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to my damn channel. Why the Big Secrets? I'm gonna keep begging y'all ass. Okay. All right. Good night.